your bottle of
Cheers.
water.
My
Yeah.
bottle of water and your coffee. Hi. It's the myopia of the film industry and people who are in jobs such as casting,
Like if you
actually.
start with a particular genre or a kind of film, they associate you with that for the rest of your career, unless you have to be cast to be typecast. So I guess it's a double-edged sword. Of course, when I have to really be vocal, I write long blogs about things. Then, if people who have patience to read or who like to read can read it because they're like 2,800 words each. My first show was Inside Edge, which is India's first original. At that time, everyone was like, "Oh, this is the demotion. How can a film person do an OTT show?" But now everyone's doing it. I'd done a stand-up comedy special for Amazon in which one fictional auntie of mine used to keep asking, "Vyah kad hona?" It's really impossible to quench everybody's thirst for this one particular question. And especially actresses, they don't like actresses to have opinion because sometimes you see that a brand can turn you down, but you'll have a male counterpart who's equally vocal and they'll be doing it. So, and sometimes people act like they're doing you a favor, but that's not the case. You're doing
Yeah.
them a favor by lending them your super successful screen image for a little while.
So Richa Chadha, hello and welcome to Coffee Time with Riya. I know ये उस time का वो time नहीं है जब you're sitting with your cup of coffee, but I want you to be as hydrated as possible. So I'll
Yes.
still cheers you with my cup and your bottle of
Cheers.
water.
My
Yeah.
bottle of water and your coffee. Hi. How are you doing?
I am good. How are you doing? You're looking
Yes.
resplendent.
Oh, thank you. It's the lockdown effect. Afternoon naps and all that.
Did you get the time to have it, considering so many interviews in a row?
They gave me a little bit of a break before you, so I took a quick nap and I did some work.
So Richa, you play a cop in this one, in Candy. Now, I believe this is the first time you're playing a cop.
Yeah.
Is that right?
This is the first time I'm playing a cop. Yeah.
So, what's with Richa Chadha and characters like Ratna, the cop in this particular one? Do you gradually, get attracted to roles which are, of so much strength and strong women character because of the way you are, or it just do you veer towards it, or it just happens? It's a natural progression.
It's the myopia of the film industry and people who are in jobs such as casting, actually. And an actor's got to work. So,
To a large extent, it's like myopia in the film industry that happens. Like if you start with a particular genre or a kind of film, they associate you with that for the rest of your career, unless something extraordinary happens and you manage to break that pattern. So this is like that, and of those you pick and choose. So I'm really happy still that I've chose Candy. However, I don't think that. With the information available to us about actors, their lives, the things they do, I don't think all actors are like the parts they play. I think we are just playing parts.
So, does it often happen that you are stereotyped in a certain way, and the kind of roles that get offered to you, like you were just mentioning, they are of the similar pattern? कि आपने भोली पंजाबन किया तो आपको वो एक एक ऐसी female actor का role देंगे जो probably would be out there but abusive and very very gung about a lot of things, or for that matter other intense roles like a Sarbjit for that matter.
Uh, I
I can see you're not very happy with that film.
no. I've been very vocal about my
Yeah.
there. But yeah, I'm saying there is some amount of stereotyping. It happens with all actors. Uh, in mostly all industries across the world, in Mexico, in America, in Japan, everywhere. So
Yeah.
yeah, I mean that happens, but it's like they say, you have to be cast to be stereo. You have to be cast to be typecast. So I guess it's a double-edged sword.
Hmm. What was it about Candy that you thought that, fine, this is something which is pretty much up my alley? I know it's a very regular question to be asked of an actor, but there has to be something that really, really attracts you as an actor towards a script. What in Candy was that?
It was a mixture of things actually. It was the entire storyline and the way it was kind of conceived of in a hill station with this sort of folklore element of urban legend and horror mixing with reality, mixing with like true crime and drugs. It was that aspect. Then it was my character, I thought it was a very layered character, something I hadn't done before, something new. I mean, there was a possibility to bring new things to this, you know. It's not like I was reprising Bholi Punjaban, so I had to stay in one lane and drive in that lane. And the third thing was the creative team around this project, which is the writers, the director, the DOP. I got on very well with them. Like, you know, they say we were vibing quite well. So then it becomes easier for someone like me. If I know I can trust someone's aesthetics, then I can sort of relax and I'll be like, let them do their job. I'll do my job.
Mhm. When it's about role reversals, Richa, I mean, it's not about just critiquing you as an actor. You also ended up critiquing, let's say, the press for that matter, who just run after a famous surname. You've been very vocal about that too. So, especially with the advent of, let's say, this OTT space where you have web series, where you have actors getting more and more work and more role driven spaces are there to be spoken about. I'm sure we press people will be talking about that as well. So do you think this is a very, very good time to be an actor? And do you think this is not your first web show, obviously? So do you think this is the future? This is the way to go, or it's just going to be, or the film industry on the big screen, the silver screen, will be a totally different ballgame altogether?
No, when I was basically, I wasn't being vocal about it. Of course, when I have to really be vocal, I write long blogs about things. Then, if people who have patience to read or who like to read can read it because they're like 2,800 words each. If I post something on my stories and unexpectedly it goes viral because journalists follow me or other colleagues talk about it, then I think that I've touched a nerve. So
Hmm.
that's more on the people who are receiving that little nugget of information. Yes, there is a certain amount of hypocrisy in our entertainment press, and that's there for everyone to see. Uh, but having said that, I don't think OTTs are the future. They are the present. They are very much here. We can't keep looking at them in the future and thinking, oh, sometime in the future they will blow up like films. The truth is, the numbers of uh, OTTs on every major streaming platform are quite mind boggling. This is only my second show. I'm quite selective about the work I do, even on OTT. My first show was Inside Edge, which is India's first original. So after that, now at that time everyone was like, "Oh, this is the demotion. How can a film person do an OTT show?" But now everyone's doing it, you know. So I credit myself for having the foresight and not worrying about what other people thought at that time. And as for films, I don't think films are going anywhere. I think this is temporary. The fact that there is uh, there's a cinema hall closure, or when films release, they release to 50% or 30% occupancy because that's what's allowed as per the COVID mandates. And they're also indoors. It's not like we have drive-in theaters and outdoor theaters in India. That concept doesn't really exist. So because of that, I feel like it's impacting cinema. And of course, there are some questions to be asked about, uh, like really high ticket prices, especially in multiplexes, closure of single screens and things like that. So, uh, any major change is a great opportunity to take stock and figure out alternative ways. So I feel like if the big guns of the film industry, the real stakeholders, can sit down in a room and decide, either to cap the ticket prices, have a discussion with distributors and exhibitors, and figure out how this model will become profitable again, especially after the pandemic.
Yeah.
Then I think then this pause would have done them good.
Mhm. Now, you talk about your post touching a nerve. I'm sure a lot of your posts also fascinate a lot of people. One such was you posting that couch picture with Ali. And again, those articles of ye shadi got postponed and everything. I'm sure there has to be something, some kind of an announcement out there that people are really, really waiting for you guys to make. So is that happening soon?
I know we've made pretty good announcements. We announced that we are starting a production company together.
Yeah,
That was a great announcement. I thought
yeah.
we've uh, we've announced our first film together. That was a great announcement. Now, on the personal front, unfortunately, we are unable to plan anything in the current scenario. We don't know how many guests will be allowed, how many people are vaccinated, and things like that. So it's really impossible to quench everybody's thirst for this one particular question. I'd done a stand-up comedy special for Amazon in which one fictional auntie of mine used to keep asking, "Vyah kad hona," and it really seems like that's a lot of
Everybody become that auntie? Yeah, okay.
yeah.
On that note, I have this little segment that I like to call sip and spill. Spilling the beans, not from anybody else's life, but your own life. I
Hmm.
want you to take sips from your bottle of water so that you are hydrated, like I promised at the beginning of the interview. All right, the first one. Take a sip if you remember the very, very first time you faced a professional camera or were on like a professional TV screen. Very first time. You don't remember.
I don't remember. I was in class
Okay, the
six.
next one. Sixth.
Yeah, it's okay. Some Rabindra dance thing was happening with school, so I'd gone there. So I don't really remember. Sorry.
Okay, all right. Take a sip. If not many, since you mentioned dance, take a sip. If not many people know that you're a trained professional dancer, Kathak dancer.
Yeah, nobody
Not
knows.
many people.
No.
Nobody knows that. I knew.
Hmm. You do. You must be very well researched. Hardly anybody knows. So
Really, man. But
yeah.
that's a pity. That's a pity. Okay. Take a sip if you have performed in front of a live audience at the very early part of your career and you still remember that performance. It can be anything, a play, a dance performance, anything.
Of course, I've performed live mostly all my life. Only the last 10 years or so, I've been acting in front of a camera, like a professional camera, on a regular basis. Before that, we were only doing stage, in whichever form.
Right.
So
Right. Okay. Take a sip if you have lost out on a role and you've been told that you're not doing it at the very last minute, or probably lost out on a role for being too much of a, activist actor within quotes.
I haven't lost out on any roles because I'm an activist actor or whatever, but definitely brands. Brands are very cagey and they pussyfoot around people
Huh.
who have an opinion, especially actresses. They don't like actresses to have opinion because sometimes you see that a brand can turn you down, but you'll have a male counterpart who's equally vocal and they'll be doing it. So no roles, but brands definitely.
It's sad. It still happens. I don't know. Everybody is
It
vocal,
happens.
but
It's
everybody.
at its peak now, obviously.
Hmm. Okay. All right. Take a sip if you've ever really, I mean, at the very beginning when all of us had email IDs, have had a really weird email ID handle that you made, or all of them have been very simple and straight, Richa Chadha at gmail.com.
They've been simple and straight, but that's not my email ID. So don't send me spam, guys. But no, I've
But
had
no weird email IDs.
no because I just no. I mean, because I know that eventually it goes out into the world, and then you get embarrassed. Like I love Rahul Dravid at gmail.com. Will be a funny email.
Okay.
Yeah.
Take a sip if you've ever had a nasty audition experience or a really weird one.
I've had a few nasty audition experiences. Definitely.
Hmm.
Hmm. Female casting director also can be on the other side of a nasty audition experience. It's not
I mean,
easy.
what goes around over there? I mean, is it about again stereotyping? What is it like when you say nasty?
No, it's not stereotyping. Actually, stereotyping is a very given fact of the industry. It
Hmm.
happens to all of us in
Hmm.
different ways. How you dress is how people perceive you, even if you're a non-actor, or what you say, or what you post on
Hmm.
social media, whatever. But um, in the beginning of one's career, you come across casting directors who are either in a hurry or they're on like they're just in a bad mood. They fought with their husband or their wives, and so I've had a few of those where I felt like their behavior was somewhat degrading. And it
Hmm.
doesn't happen once you're even one or two films old. People won't embarrass you like that.
Hmm.
But
Okay.
in the beginning, they really do treat most actors like cattle. It's kind of annoying.
Right. Okay. The last two. In fact, take a sip if you've ever been propositioned in your life and you did not really come to know about it. You were too naive to understand what's really happening.
Oh yeah, it happens all the time. Not anymore, but I mean, no one
Not yet.
propositions anymore. I
Yeah.
might still be as stupid, but proposition people are scared a little bit. Hmm.
Okay. All right. Take a sip if, like we were mentioning about stereotyping roles, if you've got a really weird proposal to do a part which was totally not up your alley, but it just came to you because they perceived of you in a certain way.
Again, happens all the time, and sometimes people act like they're doing you a favor, but that's not the case. You're doing
Yeah.
them a favor by lending them your super successful screen image for a little while. So yeah, it happens all the time. Nothing new happens to everyone.
Yeah. Okay. Thank you so much, Richa. All the best for Candy. I'm looking forward to watching this one since
And
this
did
promises to
they
be
send
a.
you a screener like a couple of episodes?
I haven't yet, but I will be. I will be watching it up. I
Okay,
haven't yet.
great.
You take care.
Bye.
Bye.
See you.
Also, a big thank you to all of you all for watching my show, liking it in such huge numbers. I'd request all of you to please subscribe to my YouTube channel and press the bell icon so that you keep receiving the updates. Thank you so much.